on the phone.
Jeremy Feets on the drive.
Is this mine?
Yeah.
Cozy up.
All right,
Picture
it
on
is
camera.
Wednesday. We're back with Lawyers, Guns, and Money, brought to you by TheLawFirm.com. It's Ben Adams and Jeremy Feets, and concussion doctor Dr. Olchasey is with us. Got it right that time?
You got it right that time.
Doc, good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to be here.
You got mics up there? I'm not hearing. Yeah, okay.
Are we on?
Yeah, that's my new earbuds. They
Hey, he
suck.
managed to play the tune for once. Let's give DeWalt a break. Good to see you again, Mike. Haven't seen you in a couple weeks, bud.
It has been a few weeks. We were in Philly. You were in Alaska. I was off last week. What's new?
Well, we went to Alaska. We survived the trip. I think one of the major highlights of the trip was when I convinced Ben of the benefits, the health benefits of a cold plunge, and so we built up a big fire next to Arctic Lake. Now, keep in mind that Arctic Lake requires you to go across Tustamina
Up
Lake.
a big river.
Well, first, yeah, up a river, then across Tustamina Lake. Tustamina Lake took about 2 hours to get across. It's so big. And then to base camp, and then from base camp, a few hours of hiking up to Arctic Lake, which is literally so cold. I wish I could had the pictures here to show you, but we have pictures of us standing on little icebergs. There's icebergs floating around it. There's chunks of solid ice floating around in the lake. It's basically freezing temperature. So we built up a big fire, driftwood fire on the rocky beach of this lake, and I convinced Ben of the health benefits of cold plunge. And
Well, not exactly. You told me it felt good. You still haven't convinced me it was healthy. That was cold, bud. That was cold.
So we went for it. We marched right in. We plunged down, and what was really kind of neat from a physical standpoint, and a tiny bit scary, is that about halfway out, your legs literally start to not work so well because it is that cold.
And you only go in maybe 40 feet. Maybe 40 feet, so 20 feet back. You'd
Do you go in over your head?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Well, we went in and plunged all the way down, and then start marching back. And about halfway back to shore, while you're walking on the rocky bottom of this lake, your legs just start to start to fail a little bit, and it puts that idea in your head like,
You're gonna drown.
This
It's
is
so
why.
cold. Can I make it to 20 feet to shore?
So, in any event, it was
fun,
that was
Steve. You
definitely
should
a
come next
highlight.
time.
Yeah. I did tell Mike, though, after Philly, that if unless the next Democratic convention's in Alaska, I'm not going.
Well,
Sounds a lot more pleasant than 98-degree heat and 100% humidity.
Yes, exactly.
well, it was a
It
good
was
time,
fun.
a good trip.
That was Alaska's great. I said to Jeremy, we're riding around on the four-wheelers, and I probably got a Tommy gun strapped on or something, and I turned and I said to him, I'm not kidding. I turned to him, I said, we may not be perfectly free, but we'll never be more free than we are right now. It's just, that feeling is amazing.
Now, as far as food and stuff, you bring a bunch of stuff.
Oh,
with you,
we
but
could eat like
but
kings.
are you
we do
fishing?
eat
Oh
like
my
kings.
Are
God.
you fishing at all? And
We did.
We did
hunting?
fish,
No, just fishing.
and
Jeremy caught a beautiful king salmon.
and which we ate for dinner that night.
Now, what are
and
you driving around with a Tommy gun for if you're not?
just to be free.
Just be free, buddy.
Were you shooting it at the laser? Or?
No, but we did shoot a lot of guns, and when I'm there, I carry a gun on my hip, and I usually carry a rifle or shotgun, and I do it just because I can. Because the government's not telling me not to. I love it.
It kind of sounds like Philly, huh, Mike?
Well, there. Can you imagine?
And Ben's excited about buying a piece of property up there to build his dream house on, and
Cool.
we went and visited the property. It's a bluff overlooking beautiful ocean and beautiful valley with a mountain range in the background. And I said, so you're going to need to, in order to have a house spot here, you're going to need to move, this hill over here and flatten this hill over here. Is that going to be a problem with permits? And,
Permits.
And Ben started laughing hysterically about, the idea that you'd have to ask the government for permission to move, hills and trees because it's your property. You just do
There are no
whatever you need
permits.
to do.
Right.
Which
Great.
is, pretty cool.
But the interesting thing about that is you can be driving through a neighborhood and there's a $500,000 house next to a shack covered in Tyvek with cars in the front yard, and you just got to get used to the idea that when you're free, your neighbors may do things that you don't necessarily agree with, and that's
the Tommy gun.
That's the goddamn right. Put some siding on your house. What is
make
wrong
fun-
with you?
I do make fun of the Tyvek homes. It's amazing how many homes we pass when we're in Alaska that They just get to the point of getting the Tyvek on there, and that's good enough for them. There's no siding. It's just got, big, and it's it's just the written Tyvek,
Yeah, but you have to use your money
all over
for
the side of
ammo
your
or
house.
liquor or something.
Tyvek is.
It's a sheathing. It's this plastic.
It normally would go underneath the siding
Right.
as a moisture barrier.
Right.
And so they just
That's a
get
finish
to,
in Alaska.
they get to that point, and that's
So it
good.
doesn't matter what it looks like.
No, it doesn't matter. There's no governmental agency to give you any hell about it. Do as you please. You paid for the land, didn't you? It's yours.
Makes sense to me.
It's great. I
Yeah.
love it. Anyways, it was a great trip. I can't wait to go back.
Oh, there it is. Mike's got a shot of a house with Tyvek.
See?
Really?
Yeah.
And it says
Oh, that's a
Tyvek
nice
all
house,
over
though. That's not an Alaskan house.
no.
More shacky.
It
More
needs to
shacky.
get through about 11 winters like that, and then imagine what it
Couple
looks
cars
like.
in the front yard, moose carcass. Come on, bud. Pull up an appropriate picture.
it. Moose carcass. Okay, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. When we come back, we continue with Lawyers, Guns, and Money, brought to you by TheLawFirm.com.
And when we come back, it'll all be talking about brain stuff with Dr. Olchese. It's going to be fun.
All right, we'll be back on the drive, folks.
Sonoma County turns to first for live team coverage
Hilarious.
of breaking